Today, we'll delve into one of the most legendary battles of ancient history, the Battle of Cannae. This was no ordinary clash. It was a defining moment where Hannibal, the brilliant Carthaginian general, nearly brought ancient Rome to its knees. Through masterful strategy and cunning tactics, Hannibal transformed his numerically inferior forces into an unstoppable force that decimated the mighty Roman army. How did Hannibal's tactical genius shape the course of history? And why did this battle become a blueprint for warfare centuries later? Stay tuned as we uncover the answers. If you're excited to explore this epic battle, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Best of History and Mythology. Give this video a thumbs up and ring the bell to stay updated on more incredible history content. The Battle of Cannae, fought on August 2, 216 BC, marked a pivotal point in ancient Rome's struggle against the Carthaginian military genius, Hannibal Barca. After devastating Roman forces at Lake Trasimene and Trebia, Hannibal led his troops deeper into Italy, with the Republic of Rome on high alert. Determined to bring the formidable Carthaginian general to a definitive halt, Rome gathered an immense army led by consuls Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro. As the armies prepared, Hannibal's forces, veterans of campaigns across Rome's Italian territories, were bolstered by skilled Carthaginian soldiers, Gallic warriors, and seasoned Numidian cavalry, whose swift mobility had become Hannibal's strategic edge. The site of Cannae, an open plain near the ancient Roman heartland, offered Hannibal the perfect battleground for his encircling tactics. The Roman army, approximately 86,000 strong, far outnumbered Hannibal's diverse force of around 50,000. But Hannibal's strategy did not rely on numbers alone. In preparation for the Battle of Cannae, the Roman Republic assembled an army of unprecedented size, gathering around 86,000 soldiers from across Rome's territories. Commanded by the consuls Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, this massive force represented Rome's resolve to confront Hannibal and reclaim control over ancient Italy. The consuls, each with a different approach to military strategy, shared command, with Paulus favoring caution and Varro determined to bring Carthage's armies to a crushing defeat. Rome's military structure at Cannae included heavy infantry legions positioned at the center, flanked by Roman cavalry. However, this formidable mass of soldiers would soon prove vulnerable against Hannibal's tactical genius. Aemilius Paulus emphasized careful maneuvers, wary of Hannibal's recent victories and the impact of his fearsome Numidian cavalry. Varro, on the other hand, insisted that overwhelming force and direct engagement were key to defeating Hannibal and the Carthaginian army once and for all. This battle represented not only a fight between armies, but a clash of leadership styles. The Roman strategy at Cannae, however, was unprepared for the unique tactics Hannibal had in store. Believing in their strength, the Romans pushed forward without considering Hannibal's cunning plans, a costly mistake that would become known as the defeat of Cannae, one of Rome's darkest days in military history. Hannibal's strategy at the Battle of Cannae was unlike any Rome had faced before. Understanding the overwhelming size of the Roman army led by Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, Hannibal devised a plan rooted in deception and tactical envelopment. He organized his Carthaginian forces with an apparent weakness at the center, using a mix of Gauls, Spaniards, and Libyans who had fought fiercely alongside him since crossing into ancient Rome. Hannibal's army formed a concave line curving outward toward the Romans. Hasdrubal commanded the Carthaginian cavalry, which was crucial for this tactic, while Marbale, another trusted commander, was prepared to support the flanks. As the dawn broke over Cannae, The Roman army, under the command of consuls Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, moved into position. Their strategy was straightforward, a powerful head-on assault to overwhelm Hannibal's forces by sheer size. With nearly 86,000 soldiers, Rome's confidence was unshaken. Varro led the charge, pushing the Roman legions forward in dense formations designed to smash through any defense. However, Hannibal, ever the strategist, had set a deadly trap. What would you have done if you were a Roman commander at Cannae? Charge ahead with force or take a more cautious approach? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Hannibal arranged his Carthaginian forces in a crescent-shaped formation with his lighter troops in the center. As the Romans surged forward, they met Hannibal's center, expecting a rapid collapse. Instead, the Carthaginian center gradually yielded ground, retreating just enough to draw the Romans deeper. This slow, controlled withdrawal played into Hannibal's plan to divide and encircle the Roman army. Meanwhile, Asdrubal, commanding the Carthaginian cavalry, attacked the Roman cavalry on the flanks. Marbali's swift Numidian horsemen joined in, defeating the Roman cavalry and ensuring that Varro and Paulus could not rely on support from the sides. With both flanks exposed, the Roman forces continued advancing, unaware of the growing vulnerability behind them. Hannibal's trap was beginning to close, setting the stage for what would soon become known as the defeat of Cannae, a devastating chapter in Roman history. As the Roman legions pressed further into the Carthaginian line at the Battle of Cannae, Hannibal's strategic masterpiece began to unfold. His center, composed of Gallic and Iberian soldiers, continued to pull back methodically, enticing the Roman forces deeper into the crescent formation. The Roman commanders, Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, believed that Hannibal's troops were finally breaking under their superior numbers and pushed forward, unaware they were being lured into a deadly trap. With perfect timing, Hannibal signaled his elite Libyan infantry, who had been stationed on the flanks, to pivot and close in on the Roman flanks. This maneuver turned Hannibal's crescent formation into a full encirclement, a tactical move now known as the pincer movement. As the Libyan soldiers advanced inward, the Roman soldiers found themselves surrounded from all sides, unable to maneuver or escape. On the outskirts of the battle, Asdrubal and Marbali's Carthaginian cavalry completed the encirclement by eliminating any remaining Roman cavalry, ensuring no Roman reinforcements could penetrate Hannibal's lines. Trapped with no chance of retreat, the Roman soldiers faced annihilation. This pincer movement at Cannae was an unparalleled feat in ancient military history, sealing the Romans' fate and marking the catastrophic defeat of Cannae, a crushing blow to Rome's once mighty legions and a moment that underscored Hannibal's tactical genius. The trap at the Battle of Cannae was now fully sprung. As the Roman legions, commanded by Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, surged forward, Hannibal's army executed the final phase of his tactical masterpiece. The Libyan infantry, stationed on the flanks, closed in from both sides, and the Carthaginian center, having drawn the Romans forward, now pressed inward. The massive Roman army found itself encircled, with Hannibal's forces forming an unbreakable ring around them. This encirclement was unlike anything the Roman soldiers had faced. The dense formation of Roman troops became a liability, trapping them within a tightening ring of Carthaginian forces. Asdrubal and Marbali's cavalry had already neutralized the Roman cavalry, ensuring there would be no escape routes. Trapped by Hannibal's masterful strategy, the soldiers commanded by Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro found themselves in complete disarray. Every attempt to break through Hannibal's forces only led to more confusion and carnage. If you're enjoying this deep dive into ancient history, don't forget to subscribe to Best of History and Mythology. Give this video a like and activate notifications so you won't miss future stories from the past. The sheer size of the Roman army now worked against them. Asdrubal's and Marbale's cavalry patrolled the perimeter, preventing any possibility of retreat or reinforcement. Soldiers stumbled over fallen comrades, their shields and swords rendered almost useless in the cramped quarters. The cries of the wounded mixed with the clashing of Carthaginian and Roman steel, a terrifying scene of desperation that marked the defeat of Cannae as one of the darkest moments in Roman history. Hannibal's troops methodically pressed inward, shrinking the ring around the trapped Romans. The dense columns, which had once been Rome's pride, now became an inescapable trap. Hannibal's brilliant tactics transformed the battlefield into a brutal slaughter, and the chaos within the Roman ranks was total. By the time the day ended, the Roman army lay devastated, and Cannae became a symbol of Roman vulnerability and Hannibal's unmatched prowess in ancient warfare. The aftermath of the Battle of Cannae left Rome reeling. Over 50,000 Roman soldiers lay dead, with many high-ranking officers and both consuls, Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, among the fallen or captured. This defeat at Cannae sent shockwaves through the Roman Republic, shattering their belief in Rome's invincibility and marking the worst military disaster in ancient Rome's history. Hannibal's victory was total. His Carthaginian forces, led by commanders like Asdrubal and Marbale, had executed a flawless plan, displaying the strength of Carthage's military strategy against Rome's legions. However, despite the devastation inflicted on the Roman army, Hannibal made the controversial decision not to march on Rome itself. Some in his ranks, including Marbale, urged him to seize the opportunity and press forward. Yet Hannibal hesitated, citing the difficulty of taking a fortified city without sufficient reinforcements. This decision would prove significant in the long-term outcome of the war. Do you believe that Hannibal's decision not to march on Rome after Cannae was a wise move, or a missed opportunity that changed history forever? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. In Rome, the loss at Cannae led to panic, but also to resolve. Although the Romans had been devastated, the resilience and adaptability they displayed in response would ultimately shift the tide of the Second Punic War. After the catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Cannae, Rome faced an unprecedented crisis. With tens of thousands of soldiers lost and morale shattered, the Roman Republic had to rethink its approach to the war against Hannibal and his formidable Carthaginian army. Recognizing that traditional strategies had failed, Rome adopted a cautious and defensive tactic led by Fabius Maximus, who emphasized avoiding direct confrontations with Hannibal's forces. This strategy, known as Fabian tactics, was initially controversial. Many Romans viewed it as cowardly, especially compared to the head-on confrontations favored by Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro. However, the Senate soon realized that Rome's survival depended on outlasting Hannibal rather than defeating him in open battle. Fabius Maximus ordered the Roman legions to shadow Hannibal's army, harassing their supply lines, attacking isolated detachments, and denying Hannibal the resources he needed to sustain his campaign in ancient Rome. Meanwhile, Rome undertook massive recruitment efforts to rebuild its decimated legions. Citizens, freed slaves, and criminals alike were drafted, underscoring the desperate measures Rome would take to recover from the defeat of Cannae. Hannibal's allies, including commanders like Asdrubal and Marbale, noticed the change in Roman tactics, and without major battles, they found it difficult to maintain the same level of momentum in Italy. The shift in strategy signaled a turning point in the Second Punic War. Rome's resilience was undeniable. Rather than surrender, the Republic adapted to its losses, making Hannibal's task of conquering Rome increasingly difficult. Over time, this staggered response weakened Hannibal's position in Italy, setting the stage for Rome to reclaim its dominance. The Battle of Cannae had been a devastating loss, but Rome's strategic pivot ultimately ensured its survival and eventual victory. The impact of Hannibal's victory at the Battle of Cannae transcended the Second Punic War, etching his name into history as one of the most brilliant military strategists of ancient Rome's era. Although Hannibal ultimately did not conquer Rome, his tactics at Cannae became legendary. The double envelopment maneuver he employed, a method that surrounded and annihilated the much larger Roman force commanded by Aemilius Paulus and Terentius Varro, became a reference point for generals for centuries to come. Cannae demonstrated that intelligence and strategy could outmatch even the largest of armies. Commanders like Asdrubal and Marbale, who served under Hannibal, became renowned for their contributions, enhancing Carthage's reputation for military prowess. Hannibal's legacy would influence military thinkers from ancient times through the modern era. Commanders such as Julius Caesar, Napoleon, and even modern strategists studied the Battle of Cannae to learn from Hannibal's innovative tactics. The lessons from Cannae were clear: the power of strategy, the importance of adaptability, and the dangers of overconfidence in the face of a cunning adversary. The defeat of Cannae, while a dark chapter in Roman history, ultimately forged Rome's determination to rise stronger and continue expanding its empire. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of history's greatest battles. See you to the next video on Best of History and Mythology.